Welcome everybody to some more Flingin' Pots fun. Today we're going to show you this awesome Sgraffito line item project. I thought Ty was going to help us today, but I guess he's not. But today, we're going to show you a little bit about how to paint your ceramic surface and how to carve into it. So your kit will come with either a cup, bowl, or a flower pot of your design or your choosing, and some ceramic paints. These will be green, which means they will not be fired, so they will be actually pretty fragile. You've been very careful to not crack them, drop them too hard, and kind of handle them very lightly. You'll also get a line carving tool that kind of usually has 2 points, a little thicker side and a thinner one over here. You'll use that to carve into and make your designs. So first off, we're just going to show you and talk about painting. So you'll get a greenware piece. Like this, that's kind of chalky and ashy, and then you're going to want to apply the ceramic paints to it. These are often very pastel-y. They will brighten up during the firing process. They'll become, much brighter in colors. We'll put the clear gloss on that to shine them up as well. So when you get your paints, you're just going to want to open them up. Usually you want to give them a stir, kind of check their consistencies, depending on how long they've been sitting around. Sometimes they have a tendency to settle out. Definitely the red has a tendency to kind of get watery on the top, so you'll just kind of give those a spin. Your consistency should be kind of like a cream, where it doesn't really fall off the brush a little bit, to kind of a lighter cream. You don't want it to be too yogurty, or it'll get kind of stuck on the brush and on the piece itself. So we're just going to go around, and I'm going to paint kind of the top of this. So painting is pretty easy. You're just going to paint normally like you would normal ceramics or anything else that you've ever painted. Just kind of going around. Again, the brush should move the paints pretty easily. If it does get chalky, add a little bit more water. Ceramic paints want to build up their thickness though, so that's kind of why you want to apply them a little bit thinner. You want to do a few coats. So this is actually probably my third coat going around this top layer. I'll show you what it looks like, and you can see how ashy it gets when it dries. Since the clay is so dry, it's going to absorb that paint really fast. My second coat, you can kind of see the clay between and underneath, so that's why we want to build up that surface. So I'm just going to kind of slap this on, kind of moving my brush kind of fluidly back and forth. Kind of being real careful. If you can leave it on the table, that's obviously kind of ideal. I'm trying to show you guys, so I'm just kind of picking these up, but I'm picking them up really carefully. And I'm kind of holding it underneath and not really grabbing the rim at all. That's definitely a very sensitive spot of the pot. So usually when I get back to the first start, it's already kind of dry, and I'll be able to kind of continue going around the pot. And again, when it is darker, it is wet, so you want to be careful not to be touching those spots. That paint can kind of stick to your fingers and pull off from the pot. So one of the reasons why I kind of painted the band up top too, so I had a place to put my fingers while I did the bottom of the piece. And I'm just trying to spread that out really nice and even around the piece itself. If I want to add more colors, I can do so. The darker colors will definitely swallow the lighter colors. So if you put blue or browns or blacks on all this, you will completely cover your reds. But yet you can add any kind of highlight colors you want. You can also paint the inside as you want as well. Most of these, again, were painted with the slips on the inside as well, or just leave it bare and it will be just clear and white. So we've got Jordan in the studio today. This is Scott's daughter, and she's an amazing line artist, and we brought her to show you guys a little bit of how to carve. So what she does to start off her pieces is she'll take a fine tip pencil and first then just kind of carve in a design that she's thinking of doing. The mountains and the sun and some doggies and some cats. So we're going to let her kind of carve in. She's got kind of the double-sided tool that she's using. And her pressure is about what you're going to use for if you were using a scratch ticket. So you are going to have some pressure to kind of remove the top layer, but not so hard obviously that you're going to crunch or destroy your piece. Again, these are green, they are very fragile, so you're being very careful around the rims as you are holding them to carve. So she's just first moving around in a circle with a little bit more pressure. She makes an initial line, and then she kind of uses the other side of the tool to kind of go back a little bit slower and kind of reinforce that. Oftentimes she's kind of blowing the little clay dust so that she can kind of see her lines better. So it's a few passes going really slowly as you move to the next feature that you're going to do. So this is definitely a slower process of the ceramics and much more controlled than some of the chaos of wheel throwing. And it's really the design feature of the carving that is creating the piece, rather than doing a lot of fancy hand building or throwing. It's really a post-production process. Carving, Jordan. Love your work. So as you can see, it is much more kind of lighter color until it's fired, and then when that red's done, it'll show up much more brighter, and this is kind of a brown slip around that base. So you just need to be careful with the rims. As you can see, if you hold on too tight, you can snap and break them, and there's not much we can do at this state to fix them. Let us know if anything like this happens. We will get you another piece and get you rolling again. Do be real conservative with your paints. Return everything back to us. We do recycle and restir and reuse all of this stuff. Thanks, Jordan, for showing us how to carve today, and we'll see you soon.